Chapter 1: The Harmless Beta Problem. Kai Mercer had built the second richest corporation in the business world with blood, sleepless nights, and pure alpha audacity. Which was exactly why the past 6 months felt like a personal insult. Every deal he touched vanished. Not failed. Not delayed. Vanished. Like smoke, only to reappear hours later under the smug, polished banner of Blackwood Industries. Theo Blackwood. First richest untouchable, ruthless CEO, alleged mafia boss, professional thief of Kai Mercer's sanity. Investors defected like rats. Contracts evaporated mid-handshake. Kai's board started whispering words like decline and reputation risk. Kai snapped. So naturally, he did the most sane, reasonable, well-adjusted thing possible. He went undercover as a harmless beta secretary. Smile, slouch. Be forgettable, Kai muttered, adjusting his cheap tie in the reflective glass of Blackwood Tower's elevator. The tie itched. The posture offended his alpha instincts. The ID badge said Kai Mercer, beta, and Kai wanted to set it on fire. In his ear, a familiar voice hissed. Sir, no, Kai, this is a terrible idea. That was Milo Reyes, his actual secretary. Hyper-competent, chronically anxious, and currently sitting in a surveillance van 3 streets away with 3 laptops and a stress-induced twitch. You are not forgettable, Milo continued. You once made a room full of CEOs cry by clearing your throat. Lower your expectations, Kai whispered. I'm going in. The elevator doors slid open. Theo Blackwood's office was exactly as intimidating as Kai had imagined. Dark wood, floor-to-ceiling windows, quiet power humming in the air like a loaded gun. Theo Blackwood himself sat behind his desk. He looked up and smiled. Not a polite corporate smile. Not a CEO smile. It was slow, soft, intimate. Like fate had just delivered him a gift wrapped in bad decisions. Welcome, Theo said calmly. I've been waiting for you. Kai blinked. Once, twice. Probably paranoia, Kai muttered under his breath. In his ear, Milo squeaked. Why did he say that like that? Theo stood, tall and composed, walking around the desk with predatory ease. He stopped just a little too close, inside Kai's personal space. You're new, Theo observed. Beta, yes? Kai slouched harder. Unfortunately. Theo hummed, clearly entertained. You'll work directly under me. Kai smiled sweetly. Lucky me. Within 1 week, Kai Mercer had turned Blackwood Tower into a crime scene of mild inconveniences. Files went missing. Coffee spilled accidentally on very important documents. Boardroom chairs were mysteriously swapped, resulting in 3 executives falling at once during a meeting. Sir, Milo whispered through the comms, panic rising. You cannot keep doing this. There are cameras. I'm chaos, Kai whispered back. Subtle chaos. Theo never got angry. Not once. Instead, he hovered. Too close. Too calm. Too amused. Every time Kai tried to access restricted files, Theo appeared. Oh, Theo would say pleasantly, leaning over Kai's shoulder. Those aren't for secretaries. Come, I'll show you something more interesting. And then, somehow, Kai would end up back in Theo's office. Again, and again, and again. Why does he keep calling you into his office? Milo demanded one afternoon, frantically typing. Sir, this is not normal CEO behavior. Kai tapped Theo's password into a fake terminal. Relax, he's arrogant. Likes showing off. Theo appeared behind him. Kai, Theo said softly. Kai froze. Theo tilted his head. You prefer Kai, don't you? Kai swallowed. Most people do. Theo smiled, like he'd just won something. Later that day, during lunch, Kai whispered furiously into his sleeve, He almost caught me. Milo groaned. I told you, you were bad at pretending to be harmless. I spilled coffee on his desk. That is not espionage. That is flirting. Kai paused. You know. From across the cafeteria, Theo watched Kai laugh at something Milo said through the comms. His smile turned possessive. Yes, Theo murmured to himself. Exactly where you belong. Kai Mercer thought he was infiltrating enemy territory. Theo Blackwood had been waiting for him to come home. Chapter 2. The Gala That Ruined Everything. By the time the corporate gala invitation arrived, Kai Mercer had been working undercover at Blackwood Industries for 3 months. 3 months of pretending to be harmless. 3 months of Theo Blackwood hovering like a territorial shadow. 3 months of Milo whisper screaming through comms about exit strategies and you're going to get caught red-handed and murdered. The invitation arrived in thick black cardstock embossed in silver. Blackwood, annual corporate gala, mandatory attendance. Kai stared at it from his desk. Absolutely not, he muttered. Theo appeared beside him like a summoned demon. You'll attend, Theo said pleasantly. Kai smiled thinly. Secretaries don't usually attend galas. I insist, Theo replied, eyes dark, voice soft. You represent me. In his ear, Milo hissed, Sir, this is how people disappear. Kai sighed. Relax. What's the worst that could happen? The gala was obscene. Crystal chandeliers, live orchestra, billionaires dressed like gods pretending to be human. Kai stood at the edge of the ballroom in a tailored suit Theo had personally selected. Theo had personally selected it, which should have concerned him more. You look, Theo paused, eyes lingering far too long. Perfect. Kai rolled his eyes. Try not to sound like you're about to lock me in a basement. Theo smiled. I already own the building. Milo groaned in Kai's ear. To cope, Kai did what he always did under pressure. He flirted. The investor was handsome, easy smile, safe. Kai leaned in, laughing, letting himself relax for the first time that night. Across the room, Theo Blackwood watched. The air around him shifted. His smile disappeared. His jaw tightened. His Enigma instincts flared hot and ugly, possessiveness coiling tight in his chest. Mine. Theo didn't interrupt, didn't approach. He waited. He watched Kai accept a drink. Then another. By the time Theo finally appeared at Kai's side, his voice was velvet soft. You're drunk. I'm bored, Kai replied, smirking. Big difference. Theo's hand settled at the small of Kai's back. Territorial. Claiming. I need you, Theo said quietly. Now. Something in his tone made Kai pause. Still, against every instinct, Kai followed him. The private suite was quiet, soundproofed, safe. Theo closed the door. The silence stretched. You shouldn't have flirted, Theo said, not accusing, aching. Kai scoffed. You don't own me. Theo stepped closer. I know. His hands trembled when he touched Kai's face. I've wanted you for so long, Theo confessed, voice breaking just slightly. Every day you sit in my office pretending to be someone else. Kai swallowed. This is a mistake, Kai whispered. Theo rested his forehead against Kai's. Then let me make it worth remembering. What followed was not rough. It was intense, devoted, overwhelming in the way only obsession could be. Theo touched Kai like he was sacred, like he might disappear if Theo let go. By the time dawn broke, Kai slipped away while Theo slept, heart racing, anger burning through the haze. This was stupid, Kai muttered to himself. A month later, the test strip said otherwise. Positive. Kai stared at it, laughter bubbling up, sharp, hysterical. Of course, he muttered. Of course the Mafia Enigma got me pregnant. Milo nearly dropped his tablet. I'm sorry, what? The next morning, Kai handed in his resignation. Theo didn't even look at the paper. Instead, he looked at Kai and smiled. No, Theo said calmly. Kai stiffened. You can't stop me. Theo stepped closer, eyes burning with something dangerously close to love. Oh, Kai, he murmured. I've never stopped you. Kai didn't know it yet, but the night at the gala hadn't ruined everything. It had only activated the trap. And Theo Blackwood had never intended to let him go. Chapter 3. The Room of Truth. Theo Blackwood did not raise his voice. That, more than anything, terrified Kai. For 3 days straight, Kai had tried to resign. For 3 days, Theo had calmly declined, signed documents without reading them, and stared at Kai like resignation was a joke they were both pretending was funny. On the fourth day, Theo finally said, "Come with me." Not as a secretary, not as a beta, as Kai Mercer. The door behind Theo's office slid open silently, revealing a narrow corridor Kai had never noticed before. At the end of it was a door, thick, reinforced, unmistakably soundproof. Theo pressed his palm to the scanner. The door opened. Kai stepped inside and felt the world tilt. The walls were covered. Photographs, candid, distant, intimate. Kai at business conferences. Kai exiting restaurants. Kai leaning over his desk late at night, exhaustion etched into his face. Screens played muted surveillance footage. Dates, locations, years. On a table sat personal items. A cufflink Kai had lost during a flight to Milan. A pen gifted by his first mentor. A watch he'd thrown away after a breakup. Kai's breath left him slowly. Theo closed the door. "I knew," Theo said quietly, standing behind him. "From the moment you stepped into my building." Kai turned slowly. "Knew what?" Theo met his eyes. No amusement, no masks. That my alpha had finally come to me. Silence crashed between them. "I've loved you for 3 years," Theo continued. "I saw you speak at a summit in Zurich. You dismantled a hostile takeover with a smile and sarcasm, sharp enough to draw blood." Theo exhaled, almost reverent. "I fell in love right there." Kai laughed, hollow. "So you decided to ruin my life?" Theo nodded. "Yes." Blunt, honest, unapologetic. "I took your deals so you'd look at me, so you'd hate me enough to come close." His voice softened. "I orchestrated the gala because you smiled at someone else." Theo's hands curled at his sides. "I seduced you because I wanted to bind you to me forever." A pause. "I didn't know you'd get pregnant." Kai's eyes widened. Theo swallowed. "I found out through your doctor. I've been watching you longer than you realize. When you didn't tell me, when you tried to disappear, I knew why." Kai stared at him, trembling with rage. "You stalked me," Kai said softly. "You manipulated my life, my body." Theo stepped forward. "Yes." Kai slapped him. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Theo didn't move. Didn't flinch. "I chose the wrong way," Theo said hoarsely. "But my love was never wrong." And then, impossibly, the most powerful man in the room knelt. Right there, on marble floors worth more than most people's homes. Theo bowed his head. "I will spend my life making this right," he said. "If you allow me." He placed a paper on the table. Marriage, legal, binding, absolute. Kai crossed his arms, eyes cold. "Oh, I'm not forgiving you yet." Theo looked up and smiled. "Good," he said fervently. "Punish me." Kai Mercer made him suffer. Not cruelly, deliberately. Theo canceled meetings at Kai's command. Cooked under supervision. Waited outside conference rooms. Endured Kai's sharp tongue, biting sarcasm, and impossible standards. Kai corrected his decisions in front of boards. Used his name to overrule him. Made Theo apologize. To employees, to rivals, to Milo. Milo, who whispered one day, stunned, "Sir, you broke him." Kai smirked. "Good." Theo took it all. Quietly, devotedly. Every punishment became penance. Every order, an offering. Theo stopped manipulating. Stopped scheming. Started earning. By the fourth month, Kai watched Theo carefully support him during a meeting, hand steady, eyes full of worship, and realized something had changed. Theo had redeemed himself. That morning, Kai sighed over breakfast. "Fine," Kai said. "Let's get married. The baby deserves both parents." Theo froze. Then he cried. Actual tears, no shame, no restraint. "I'll worship you forever," Theo whispered. Kai smirked. "You already do." and everyone in the corporate world would soon learn the truth. Theo Blackwood might be the Enigma, but Kai Mercer was in charge. And Theo had never been happier. Chapter 4. The Real Takeover. The wedding was nothing short of legendary. Blackwood Cathedral, usually reserved for international summits and discreet power negotiations, was transformed into a palace of glass, gold, and obscene wealth. Crystal chandeliers reflected off marble floors. White roses lined the aisle in such excess that florists across the city cried in envy. Kai Mercer arrived 5 months pregnant, impeccably dressed, posture perfect, spine straight, aura untouchable. Anyone who thought pregnancy had softened him was a fool. Theo Blackwood stood at the altar. Feared Enigma, billionaire CEO, Mafia king. And he looked at his alpha like a man seeing religion for the first time. The guests were interesting. Board members, world leaders, CEOs, and, unbeknownst to most, Theo's Mafia subordinates disguised in tailored suits, wearing glasses they didn't need, whispering respectfully into earpieces while pretending to discuss quarterly profits. One of them leaned toward another and muttered, "So that's the alpha who ruined our boss?" The other nodded solemnly. "Worth it." Theo barely noticed them. His entire world was walking toward him. When Kai stopped in front of him, Theo's hands trembled just slightly. "You're late," Kai murmured. Theo swallowed. "You're perfect." "I know." The vows were brief. Theo promised devotion, obedience, transparency, redemption. Kai promised, "Nothing unnecessary." "I'll stay," Kai said, "as long as you behave." Theo said, "I do," like it was a sacred oath. The honeymoon, or Theo Blackwood suffers internationally. They disappeared for 1 full month. Private islands, penthouse suites, Michelin star meals. Kai, 4 months pregnant, worked the entire time. Theo watched in agony as Kai held virtual board meetings from a chaise lounge, correcting executives with sharp precision. "You should be resting," Theo said for the 10th time. Kai didn't look up. "I am. This chair costs more than your car." Theo hovered. "You need water." "I have water. A foot massage. I'll consider it if you cancel the Zurich meeting." Theo canceled it immediately. Milo, attending remotely, whispered, "I have never seen a man so happily enslaved." The announcement that ended careers. The morning after they returned, Kai walked into Blackwood Tower like he owned it. Because he did. During a joint executive meeting, both companies present, tensions thick, Kai casually dropped a file on the table. "I merged our companies." Silence. Theo blinked. "You... what?" Kai smirked. "Relax. You're rich. I'm richer." A board member choked. Another whispered, "He didn't even ask." Theo stared at the documents, then at his alpha, and smiled like a man in love. "Yes, husband." Someone fainted. The new order. The business world lost its collective mind. Headlines screamed. Stocks soared. Rivals panicked. Everyone whispered that Theo Blackwood was the most dangerous man alive. And they weren't wrong. But inside Blackwood Tower, Kai Mercer ran everything. Theo followed him through hallways, held his chair, carried his bag, glared at anyone who stared too long. Pregnant or not, Kai worked harder than anyone, much to Theo's ongoing suffering. "Sit," Theo begged one afternoon. Kai raised a brow. "Make me." Theo sat instead. And honestly, Kai wouldn't have it any other way. Chapter 5. Hostile Takeover, now with a baby. By the last phase of the pregnancy, everyone at Blackwood Tower knew one universal truth. Theo Blackwood was barely surviving. Kai Mercer, 8 months pregnant, sharp as ever and completely unrepentant, refused to slow down. "Sit," Theo ordered gently for the 10th time that morning, hands hovering like Kai might shatter. Kai didn't even glance up from his tablet. "I am sitting. I just happen to be dominating a hostile acquisition while doing it." Theo paced. You're supposed to be resting. Kai smirked. I'll rest when the baby files a complaint. Right on cue. The baby kicked. Hard. Theo froze. Was that? The baby kicked again. Theo panicked. Kai, I think something is happening. Is this normal? Should I call the doctor? Or security? Or Milo? Kai laughed. Right on cue. The baby kicked. Hard. Theo froze. Was that? The baby kicked again. Theo panicked. Kai, I think something is happening. Is this normal? Should I call the doctor? Or security? Or Milo? Kai laughed. Loud, delighted, absolutely evil. Relax, he said. Our child just inherited my timing. Theo sat down immediately, on the floor. The final weeks, Theo became unbearable. He tracked Kai's steps, timed his meals, monitored hydration like a military operation. Kai made it worse on purpose. Oh no, Kai said one afternoon, clutching his back dramatically. Theo nearly passed out. I'm joking, Kai added. You should see your face. Milo, witnessing the chaos, muttered, The Mafia king has been reduced to a worried house husband. Theo accepted this with pride. The arrival of the real boss. The baby arrived at dawn. Theo cried, again. Actual tears. Kai, exhausted and victorious, smirked weakly. Told you I'd survive. Theo held their baby like he was holding the world. Tiny. Perfect. Powerful. Our heir, Theo whispered reverently. Kai snorted. Don't start. They still have to pass kindergarten. A new normal. Life didn't calm down. It just got louder. Theo ran Blackwood Industries by day and handled diapers by night. He took meetings with a baby strapped to his chest, glaring at executives who dared comment. Kai returned to work faster than anyone expected. He strolled into Theo's office, baby monitor in hand. You missed a call from Zurich. Theo bounced this baby expertly. I was busy. With my child? Our child. Kai smirked. Good answer. Theo glared at a board member mid-call while gently rocking the baby. Continue, he ordered coldly. Then softer. Shh. Papa's here. Kai leaned against the desk, amused. You're doing great, he said. Almost like you enjoy being ordered around. Theo smiled. Only by you. The business world still feared Theo Blackwood. The Mafia still bowed. The tower still stood as a monument to power. But inside the penthouse there was laughter. Midnight feedings. Sarcastic banter. Endless devotion. Happy ending. Absolute chaos. Permanent obsession. And Kai Mercer, power bottom alpha, husband, and ultimate authority, wouldn't trade it for anything.